Hey guys.
Oh,
Um, do we want to give an introduction since the video is one we're going to
I don't
share?
like these comments all sideways. Yeah, hi guys. So it's a little bit late over here. It's about 10:30. So I wanted to jump on and do a live.
You see that one? Best notification ever.
I wanted to jump on and do a little live chat with you guys and try to save it to YouTube. So if you are watching this later on YouTube, the problem is that they can't see the comments and things like that, and
So
they're sideways for us right now. So and maybe we're sideways for you guys. I don't know how obnoxious this is. This is just kind of a test if it works out for all of us. So
this will be easy, I hope, to be able to transfer over for Emily because this is part of her YouTube goal for this month. But yeah, it has been a while and we haven't been around as often as we were in the last couple of months. So
we're sideways, but we look lovely. That's nice. Thank you.
I've seen
And
Germany,
I'm sorry about the
Arizona.
sideways. So if we're quiet, we're just kind of reading comments, but we didn't really have an aim for being on here. I just wanted to say hi to you guys. Lives are always really fun for being in touch with you guys and just kind of answering a few questions. And so,
I like that one. Somebody asked, what are some of your Easter traditions?
you know, traditions are easily kind of morphed and changed because the kids are still so small. We did some different things this year. The one thing that's always stayed is we go over to the Myers house and they have a really special Myers Easter egg hunt. And so that's always something we've done every year, and the kids always look forward to that. And it was a lot of fun this year. It's always a big potluck with a family. So that was a really fun thing. And then we did a different Easter egg hunt as well with some neighbors, and that was really fun. So other than that,
That one was a blast.
other than that, there's not really anything that is traditional. I usually like to dress the girls up, and we all go to church together in kind of pastel Easter egg colors, and just sort of basic things. But next year probably will.
We got some good Easter photos with the kids.
Yeah.
Almost all of them, it was kind of a sunny day, so they were, a lot of us were like kind of squinting and trying to get the right photo, but they turned out awesome. It was good.
As far as like updates, right now my stomach hurts because we just got to go on a date. We went to go watch the new Fast and the Furious movie, which was good, but I ate a lot of popcorn, and so I don't feel super great. But it was good
spoil it or
popcorn.
anything.
Yeah, I won't say anything. I won't spoil it. It was good.
It was good. It was fun.
What else? The kids had a lot of fun. We had a sweet friend come over who hasn't watched them before, but she did awesome, and they loved her, and so it was really great. What's my favorite part of the ages my kids are now?
'Cause they're all changing.
They're
right now.
all
That's the
Yeah. My favorite part right now is just that they're all really innocent and sweet still. Of course there are tantrums and there's little bickering and fighting. Everything it's not perfect, but they're all just really innocent and sweet and easily satisfied. And it takes just being like, you guys, let's make cookies together, and they're all like, oh my gosh, hooray! And they think it's the greatest thing ever. So it's really easy to just pick something and have them all be really excited about it, and that's a really sweet age.
Yeah, it's a good time for all of them. Alberta, nice. I'm always loving those comments when they say where they're from. It's so
Yeah,
fun to actually
I
like
do
picture it
like
on
that.
the map. And so I've seen a common Palm Springs. Oh, that sounds so
We were
nice
just
right
in
now.
Palm Springs.
Today was a really rainy day, which reminded me a lot of home because upstate New York gets a lot of rain. But if you want to, I saw 5 or 6 times now that they wondered about our story.
Somebody
We
asked.
could do
Somebody
that.
said that you appreciated the video where I opened the gift for my sister, and I'm glad to hear that. That was,
That's a good one.
yeah. I was really glad I decided to share that. You guys were really receptive, and that was really awesome. Yeah, I've seen a few people ask how we met. We did meet 10 years ago, or more now, almost. Yeah, come July it'll be 11 years, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll be 11
Yeah.
years in a couple months. So
2006.
we met in 2006. Yeah.
And then, well, should we just start at the beginning?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So, I guess the real reason that we met is that her dad offered me pancakes, and her mom smothered them in syrup, and they were awesome. And that happened a couple times. Got to share a few meals with the family. At that time, I knew your brother better. I knew Burke a little better than anybody at the table. and like a week and a half later, we exchanged addresses right before well, I guess you guys split town because I kind of lived there.
Somebody said, haven't I said before that we have cows? We do not have any cows. What I probably mentioned once before was that my neighbors have cows and that they've gotten out and have been in my yard a few times, but no, we've never owned cows before. Sorry to interrupt your story.
No, you're fine. We've got pasture space and we have
Yeah, we live on a few
horses
acres
that
in like an old
rent the space
farmhouse.
once in a while, but
Yeah, but you were in the middle of your story. I keep interrupting.
Yeah. So I lived in upstate New York, and your family was visiting upstate New York for, is it 3 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I didn't spend a whole lot of time with you that week. I mean, we shared a couple meals.
You were more friends with my older brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we exchanged addresses right before your family left town to head home, and we started writing letters, and we wrote letters for almost 3 full years. And then, I mean, we became really, really good friends over that time.
Yeah.
That really,
was we weren't together. We were hours apart, and so we never saw each other. We just wrote letters, hours apart, and then
you guys moved to Idaho shortly after that, and you were thousands of miles away.
That's right. So that
so
doesn't totally even apply. We were very, very, very far apart, and so being able to write letters, we wrote often, at least every week. And they were mile-long letters. They were 20 pages long, so we were able to share just lots of really personal things and just connect a lot that way. Man, I don't like not being able to read the comments.
Somebody said this, do you get tired of repeating your story? I think this will be a good one because we're planning on putting this on YouTube, so it'll be saved.
I think for you people that have heard it multiple times, it's because you guys are great friends and you follow along closely, but some people are like, who are you guys? How did you meet? And so we do feel like we have to repeat it a lot, but it would help, I think, if, like Richard was saying, if this goes to YouTube, it'll be more permanent. Places, then
So we wrote for like 3 years and became the best of friends. Because there was no confusion, or like it wasn't a dating situation the same way that it would be if
I shared a lot of things with him that I didn't share with other people, and I think we really connected and bonded that way, and we became really close, but it wasn't like this gushy, like it wasn't like a long distance relationship, but we weren't what am I looking for? There wasn't any like, oh, I miss you so much, like I love you so much. We weren't
it
we weren't
sappy.
To that level.
It was very like supportive of each other,
just
but
friendship. We were really strong, good friends.
I could tell when things were off. Like I could tell if you sent a letter that wasn't quite like as chipper as your other ones, but most of your letters were like 14 pages, and you had to like take the envelope shut so it didn't tear open and stuff. And I think mine weren't as good because I didn't have as much time to write necessarily, but it was a good couple of years. And then right near the end, you read for a minute, I'll keep going. Right near the end of that letter writing time is when you met Martin, and I knew you had met him a few months into you guys dating, but then I mean, it was kind of a slow dating relationship. Well, that's the thing too, is that I was dating other people too while we were writing. That's the thing too. Someone said it wasn't romance, and it really wasn't. We were just really great close, friends, and I was going on dates and had some boyfriends on and off, and so there was definitely. There were 2 questions.
What they say.
It said 14 pages, dang girl, and then the next one said, did you keep the letters?
We did more than that, and we still have the letters.
I have all the ones that she sent me, I believe. Supposedly you have yours, but they're probably in a box.
There are still, there's like 30 boxes in the garage from when we moved, and I'm expecting to see them in there. And when I married Martin, and we just stopped keeping in touch, because I really did care about him at that point, and it was just appropriate to just kind of go our separate ways, and so it was a good timing for them, and it felt right for Emily and for me. It was like, no, I'm not going to argue. Like if love is at your doorstep, I'm not going to step in the way and say. Someone said, why didn't you date while you were writing? It's because we were thousands of miles apart. Mm-hmm. We just and we hadn't been together physically enough that it felt right to have like a relationship that way. We just became really close friends. and I knew it was right, and I'm like playing back here behind you. I knew it was right for me, and Richard felt the same way, and was really understanding,
Yeah.
and we sorted it out, and it just made sense the way that things were happening, and so that's a nice big comment. So so he said, I'm really happy for you, and and I feel like this is right for you, and I explained why I loved Martin and why I felt like I needed to accept his proposal and why it was going to work out,
And
and
I
so
really
we stopped keeping in touch after that. Really,
I really felt like I trusted Emily's judgment. So if she had said yes to somebody's request for marriage, then I knew that he was a great person, and I knew that she was okay with it. Her family must have been okay with it, or that would have been too difficult for her to move forward with. And it was something that I said, there's no way I'm getting in between something that's good for you.
if you read that comment to you, it's a question to you. Well, I say really quickly that that once I did marry Martin, as I was going through all of my things from high school and like sorting stuff into our home together, I did keep Richard's letters, and I explained to Martin. I said, these are letters, from a guy that I wrote for a really long time, and my best friend, and he understood that he was not my boyfriend and that they weren't mushy letters, and so I was like, would it be weird if I kept these? I was getting rid of old boy boxes of perfume and stuff, and stuff like that, boys cologne, and I was getting rid of all those things, but I really wanted to keep the letters because they were very special to me, and Martin didn't have a problem with that at all, because again, we hadn't really had a relationship. It was just a very good friendship, and he understood that Richard's friendship had helped me through some hard things in high school, and so I did keep Richard's letters, and he kept mine, and so someday we'll get them back together and put them in a book or something. Okay.
Somebody asked if you were writing while you were dating Martin, if you were writing to me, and you were dating.
I dated
several
a lot of guys
people.
while I was
Yeah.
writing Richard. Yeah.
You were dating several
I'd
people.
say,
but
I had a few boyfriends, and I would say I went on a date with this, idiot, and we almost died because of this, and Richard would just make
remember
fun
some
of
of
him,
those.
and I'd
you're
say,
like, well, he seems like an airhead
Yeah.
if you fell
He's
off
like,
a
good
waterfall
ch-
during your date.
he's like, good choice. Yeah, so I would say, I went on a date with this guy, we went to the, the opera, and there was this singer, and it was really cool, and he would say, oh, I love that song, and so yeah, we talked about it, and again, he hadn't like laid claim to me, and so it wasn't weird. So yeah, I wrote, I mentioned Martin to Richard and talked about, why I thought he was a great guy, and Richard was like, well, cool, I'm glad you're having fun, and so.
It was, well, and when things kind of got serious is when you slowed down on the letters, and I just kind of was like, she's gotten busy with things, but then they picked back up again for a little bit, and then shortly after that we were able to talk on the phone, so it was kind of a special time. Okay, so one of the bigger questions that
Somebody
I read.
says, Richard, describe yourself to those of us who don't feel like we know you super well yet. Introvert, extrovert, what's important to you?
Okay, go with that one.
Go with that one.
Some of both, I think.
Very much. It's both of us.
I can be very extroverted and outgoing. I love meeting new people and talking with people and getting to know people. So extroverted in that way. But I guess, what's the best way to put that? Like, if you make it into my inner circle, if I reach that point where I really care about you, like, I'll jump in front of a bus for you. Like, and that portion of it is kind of introvert. Like, I like to keep that group very close.
I would like to pat us on the back and say that one thing that Richard and I have in common, and I feel like, is that we really like humans, and we genuinely like to give everybody the benefit of the doubt that they're good people, and that they love people, and so I think that we're very loyal in that you're innocent until proven guilty. I think anybody that we meet, we just assume that you're a good person, and that we could easily have something in common with you, and so we don't walk around with with our guard up, assuming that the world is a sad and mean place or something. I think that we just like to have friends, and we like to meet people. But yes, once we see you over and we realize how much we have in common, you're right. There's really loyal, and we would do a lot for people that are really close to us, I guess, if that makes sense, the way that I described that.
I hope it does.
I hope so. But you can keep talking about you. Someone says...
I got two questions. Two comments. Somebody asked if I know where Corning is. Yeah, I've been through there a couple times, so it's a good area. Glad that you're here and sharing from back home.
Richard's hair is like to here now.
And I don't do
Somebody
a whole.
asked how long his hair was.
I don't do a whole lot. They said they're a hairstylist. I'd love to have your tips and techniques because right now Emily's the only one with a hairstylist. Maybe that's too weird to say. I don't know. What was my first impression of Martin? That was. I think it's a really good question. I'm trying to think of when I really.
You guys are all leaving really sweet comments, by the way, and lots of hearts, and I wish that we could save the comments. I think Instagram needs to fix that because I want to go back through and read the ones that I miss, and I can't, and that makes me sad.
If you
to miss them.
If you want to come over after we publish this, I guess they could comment on YouTube as well and leave them because that'll be more permanent where you can answer comments and questions.
Yeah, that's true.
Help me out. First impression of Martin. How do
Richard kind of
Because I
described to me
didn't
that
meet Martin before you guys got married. I saw a couple pictures, so my first
you never
impression.
met him at all.
No.
By the way.
You could point.
They
but
never got
my
to
first
meet at all.
impression of him was through you, and the
Yeah.
things that you told me about him before you got married.
Yeah. So I did describe a few dates to Richard, I believe, through letters, and it described that I was, going on some dates with this nice guy, and he was like, "Well, that's cool. I'm glad." And
Well, and there were two different kinds of dates because at the beginning it was like you guys were. It was calm, like they were very calm dates, and then after he proposed to you, then it became a different kind of date, and you didn't really share quite as much, but it
Well-
was a more, holy cow.
oh, geez, guys, oh my gosh.
Okay,
And we're
we're-
missing so many comments.
We're
It
like
makes me
500
sad.
comments behind.
One thing that I do want to say is that that Martin and I dated for about 5 months before he ever held my hand or kissed me or did anything like that. So Martin and I were also building a good friendship too. And I would also like to say that I had some rough relationships in high school and went through, made some dumb choices and got in with some idiot people. And so Martin was really a breath of fresh air.
We all do that, I think.
We all do that, but Martin was a lot older and was a really big gentleman and was just respectful and kind, and so it was a very big difference to start dating Martin and have him just be so. It was different, so I'm sure that Richard sensed the difference in Martin's, my descriptions maybe of him versus some of the other people.
Things changed over time because of your relationship developing, but
Yeah.
somebody asked if it bothered Martin that Emily shared intimate details with me. She didn't. Like, things were private
Oh,
between
no.
the two of them, and they're
Yeah.
like, it was, we went on these dates and this was fun and that sort of thing, and then when things
Martin and I
started to change,
weren't like an item either up until he proposed. He never asked me to be his girlfriend. Again, he never held my hand, so it wasn't like we weren't even.
it went from Emily was dating people, from my perspective, it went from Emily was dating people to like this abrupt moment that I can remember specifically where I found out Emily's engaged, and I was like, whoa, mind blown. And it was maybe a week later that we actually talked about it. So after the two of them got engaged and I found out that she was engaged, we talked on the phone, and I think that was basically it. Like, beyond that, it was not something that I asked a lot of questions about because she was getting ready to be married to a wonderful man that she was happy with. So
I'm seeing a lot of good questions about why I had kids so young and how we reconnected, and I feel like this is probably already over 20 minutes long, and so I really want to end this soon, but I feel like we need to have more parts to this story and more videos to kind of follow up. Also, somebody asked when I'm going to come to Salt Lake soon, and when we're going to have like a meetup there in Salt Lake, and I would like to do that really soon. I'd like to meet at City Creek or something and get ice cream or whatever. I think that'd be really fun to meet a lot of you guys. Someone says, Richard, how many more children would you like to have? You guys.
It's a discussion worth talking about, but we don't know. Well,
Somebody laughs. So many questions. You guys they're so great, and it makes me sad that I'm gonna.
it's just too many. It's too fast.
It's like I want to just stop talking and just go back and be obnoxious and just silently read all the comments. Because you guys say awesome things and you ask really great questions. And so if you would, especially if we didn't answer your question, please, either on my Instagram account or on my YouTube on the video, it'll be up by tomorrow morning, go over and post your question over there, and either we will do a follow-up Q&A where we will just read questions, or I can answer right there in the comments, or because I think we better wrap this up, but there's a lot more. I hope that answered the question, at least, of how we met and how things were kind of back in that time. So
I think we should continue the rest of the story another night, like you're saying.
yeah,
But
there's a lot of facets.
There's an in-between, though, that I do want to touch on now, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, in between what?
I've seen a repeated question where people said, did you follow the freckled fox, or like, did you have conversations in between? And I really didn't. All through the years, like I caught on that you had the Instagram and the blog, but I didn't read the blog, and I looked maybe once a year at the Instagram and just like saw smiling pictures and more kids and just kind of laughed. But it was like I had set that aside because you were happy, and there was no real reason for me to keep snooping on you, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I never, my feelings towards you never changed, because we were such good friends for so long that it was like, yeah, if you need something, let me know.
Yeah.
But I wasn't.
He was really gracious. It wasn't like, well, fine, if it's going to be that way. You know, he was like, well, I'm really glad you're happy, and I wish the best for you. And so we ended on really good terms. But yeah, I can imagine that you weren't like, well, let's see, what are you up to next? You know, so, you know, we were friends on Facebook, and I would look at his photos once in a while, and I'd be like, isn't he, you know, married yet? Like, I wanted him to kind of move forward and be happy in his own life. And so I would check in on him and kind of stalk him late at night on Instagram and be like, what's going on? Like, I don't know what's going on in his life. I wanted him to move forward and be happy.
That question was on there a couple times. Did I date or come close to marriage in the middle, like in between when you got married and when we got married? But I mean, I did a couple times, so I'm sure that was like, like you were looking at photos of me with somebody like, oh, they look happy together, and then like
really
2 weeks later,
no, I didn't see pictures of you like hardly ever with women, and so with guys. I mean, either it looked like you were having adventures, and like, you know, I think I saw Havasupai, and I saw motorcycles and fun stuff, but I never really saw you with girls, and so I was like, well, let's move forward. Come on, like, I was just rooting for you.
Makes you sound like my mom.
I was just rooting.
Hurry up and be happy.
Well, I felt like responsible, you know, because we had something really special, and I think towards the end we started feeling much more, you know, I was much more. I felt much more connected to you, and I think I probably, you know, imagined marrying you someday, and you know, we both went our separate ways, but I wanted you to be happy. And
so yeah, I mean, to sum that up, I guess from my end.
Someone said your first love, Richard, was it the Freckle Fox? You don't have to. No, that's okay.
I'm just trying to think if I had like any real
first.
If I had any real relationships that were that far back, or that certainly none that meant that much.
The age difference is 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The age difference between Martin and I is 10 years. I love when you guys answer questions for me. I see someone ask a question and then someone else comes on and replies, and I'm like, oh, good job, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, shall we wrap it up for this one?
Someone said, did you meet in high school or in church? Both. It was like a religious function while we were in high school. So both. Yeah, we better wrap up. You guys have left awesome questions. I wish that I had been able to read more of them and answer more of them, but please carry your question over somewhere else so that I don't miss it, because I do try to answer everything that I can, and Richard does too. It's hard for us to see so much that we would love to talk about, but we'll just keep doing this. We'll keep coming back and leaving more facets, and also we want to write out detailed blog posts sharing more details and photos and things like that. We don't have any pictures of us together that we know of from back in the day, and I wish we did, because we were, at least I was like chunky and we were cute back then. I wish we had some photos together.
Oh, you remember when I tried to get you to cut my hair?
Uh-huh.
Like the last.
Do you think we got a picture that night?
Before you gave me your address, I think.
Yeah.
I tried to convince you, and you just wouldn't have it.
We were talking about hair cutting, and because he had been growing his out, and I was like, I cut hair, and
she
was
like,
well, do mine.
It was this moment of like wanting to feel really proud of her skills, and was like, well, I cut hair, and I was like, well, do mine, and she's like, I don't cut hair.
All of a sudden, I was put on the spot. I was like, I can't cut your hair. Like, I'm trying to impress you, and I'm not going to screw up on your head. I was like,
no, seriously, just do it. If it turns out badly, I'm not afraid of a buzz cut.
I was too scared. I was trying to make a good impression. I didn't want to mess up on his head. I'm like, this is the one time I'll accidentally like slip with the razor. And Anyways, so we should start doing like a little series of blog posts because everybody's pretty interested and we appreciate the interest. And there are a lot of facets and reasons why this is unique and different and why this works for us when it wouldn't necessarily work for other people. And
It's
we're happy to share
It's
details
special.
and because I think that a lot of the confusion might come just from not really knowing. All right.
All right.
Thank you guys again for all the love and all
have a
the
great
sweet
night.
comments and questions and encouragement as always. And we will see you guys here back really soon. Is that all we have to say? All right.
Love you, babe.
All right. Love you too. And I love you guys. Have a good night.
See you later.
Bye.